Hello, I'm Jacob Nordby with Heal Plus Create, the Institute for Creative Living, and a writing room. And I'm here with an update, and it feels like it's been longer than a month, probably definitely so. Traveled to Mexico in January and had a retreat in Sayulita. Got back, dealt with a bunch of snowstorms and craziness here. And of course, the world itself feels like it's being turned upside down and shaken right now. I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but I bet you can. I shared a piece the other day on Facebook and loved the responses I got, and I wanted to share this with you right now. Somebody else wrote it, and it's been floating around for quite a bit, quite a long time, but when it came up, I just really loved the way they framed this question. So let me read you this little quiz. All right. So you don't have to actually answer these first questions, just ponder them. So as I'm reading them, just listen straight through and you get the point. Let's start with number one. Number one, name the five wealthiest people in the world right now. Number two, name the last five Heisman Trophy winners. Number three, name the last five winners of the Miss America pageant. Number four, name 10 people who have won the Nobel or Pulitzer Prize. Number five, name the last half dozen Academy Award winners for Best Actor and Actress. Six, name the last decade's worth of World Series winners. Now, I know there are some of you who can pick at least one of those questions and name all of them. Okay. I want to acknowledge that you are smart and you have really interesting silos of information out there. But in general, how did you do? The point is, none of us remembers the headliners of yesterday. And these are not second-rate achievers we're talking about. These are people who are the best in their fields, the best athletes, the best actors, all the best things. But the applause dies and awards tarnish and achievements are forgotten and accolades and certificates are buried with their owners. Here's another quiz. Let's see how you do on this one. List a few teachers who aided your journey through school. Two, name three friends who have helped you through a difficult time. I invite you to grab a notebook and actually write these people down. List a few teachers who have aided your journey through school. Name three friends who have helped you through a difficult time. Name five people who taught you something worthwhile. Think of a few people who have made you feel appreciated and special. And number five, think of five people you enjoy spending time with. That list, that was easier, wasn't it? And here's the lesson. The people who make a difference in your life are not the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They are simply the ones who care the most. All right. I wanted to share that with you, and for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's heartwarming. Secondly, I want to invite you to go through that list again and write their names down. And if they're still alive, I invite you to reach out to them with a note, an email, a text, a call, something, some way of appreciating them. I feel like it closes a loop energetically in some way. It's like an electrical circuit. You know, when you close the circuit, the electricity can flow. Appreciation is a really powerful energy, and we need more of it in our world. And sometimes it feels vulnerable to reach out and tell someone you appreciate them from an open heart. But the world also needs more vulnerability. It needs more of us showing who we really are from behind all these masks of the roles that we play in life and the ways that we've been taught to behave and the way society conditions us to be cool or to be aloof or to, stay closed down. But the fact is, we live in a world right now where we need to be opened up. And not indiscriminately, of course. We need to protect ourselves. We need to be conscious of the energy that we are giving off and that we're also, susceptible to or receiving. We can clean up those things quite a bit. But in general, especially with people who have made a difference in your life, reaching out and letting them know that they matter, letting them know how they impacted you, that might be the difference. You don't even know some of these people who seem like they were so solid and helpful and empathetic and all of those things, they might be going through a really dark time right now. They might have lost someone. They might have lost a job. They might be having poor health. They might be on the other side of a bunch of accomplishments and feel like their life doesn't matter a whole lot. I know I've received notes from people who've read my books or people who, are near me on social media. And every once in a while, I get a note where they express gratitude for what I've shared, for the way I've reflected their worth to them in some way. And I tell you what, some of those notes have come in to my life when I was really going through a difficult time, and it made a huge difference. I want to encourage you to reach out. And if that person is no longer with us or you don't have a relationship with them anymore where you can reach out, I have a couple of those in my life, a couple of really amazing mentors. It's been 20 years or more, in some cases even longer than that, and I've lost track of where they are. This is a reminder for me maybe to reach back out to a couple of them. But if you can't reach out to some of them for some reason, I encourage you to symbolically say thank you, symbolically do it with a stranger, symbolically do it with an animal or with the earth in some way. Give back. And the best way, of course, to give back is pay that forward. Be that person in someone else's life. Be that person who someone will look back at and go, you know what? They said that encouraging word. They believed in me. They gave me a hug, or maybe it was just a simple squeeze on the shoulder and a nod that says, you got this. Be that person. See how many of those things you can put out into this world that so desperately needs evidence that goodness exists, that kindness matters, that um, generosity of spirit makes a difference, right? We're getting so many messages about people who are not able to give generosity of spirit or of money or of time or whatever it is. We hear a lot about those people. And it can begin to create this preponderance of evidence that the world is a scary, dangerous, mean place. And the fact is, there's evidence to support that. But that's only one end of this spectrum that's always exists at every moment. At this very moment, someone is experiencing terror and tremendous grief and heartbreak and starvation and scarcity at this very moment. And at the other end of the spectrum, someone right this minute is getting married to the love of their life. They're having their first child. They're getting the news that their book got accepted by a publisher. They are experiencing some kind of victory, some kind of happiness. So at this very moment on this planet, all of those things are happening and everything else you can imagine in between. So this is not turning away from the reality, but that's only one end of the spectrum. And I know I've talked about this before, but I think it bears repeating. I find the more I turn my attention toward this end of the spectrum and say, how can I give my energy to what I want to see more of in this world? How can I be the person that I would love to see more of me around in this world? Not just like me, their own versions, of course, but the energy. How can I be that person rather than be a person on this end of the spectrum who is taking, who is hoarding, who is hurting others, who is being thoughtless, or unconscious as I go through life, And we have that choice at any given time. We have that choice. Yeah, so a lot there, and I'm so glad that you're near me, that you are listening. I love the comments and responses I get, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being part of the solution in this world. I saw a meme the other day that a cartoon that showed this person sitting there, by a campfire, and they were clearly a modern day person. They said, "What is the matter with the world?" On the other side of the campfire was this native chieftain or shaman or something, and he said, "It's because you've lost your connection to spirit." And I just want to say that whatever your version of connection to spirit, universe, divine, God, whatever it represents for you, staying grounded in that, and also staying grounded in this beautiful, fascinating place called planet Earth, like really taking care of our surroundings and our bodies and the people within our own arm's reach. That to me is one of the most important things we can do, especially when we're feeling overwhelmed by the status of the world, by the events that are happening, is to remember that only thing we can actually influence is within our own arm's reach. We get overwhelmed by what's outside of that. And I know I've told you this story before at some point, but when I was at my least resourceful in my life, I'd been turned upside down. I'd lost my house and my car and my money and my credit score and everything. I was feeling very victimized by the world, very turned upside down. And the world felt dangerous. And I was wound up in lots and lots of, silos of information about the Illuminati and about the big banks and about the mega corporations and all the, the big forces going on in this world. And you know what? What's interesting is each one of those silos of information contained a lot of truth. There was a lot of truth, of validity to the fact that there are major forces that are seeking to take greater and greater control in this world. And I can't deny that. And what I came to for myself, and it brought me so much inner peace very quickly, was I can't control those things. And it's not my life's mission to start campaigns and go and try to crush those things. In fact, and it's a phrase you've heard over and over again, no doubt. Carl Jung originally said it: what we resist persists. What we resist persists. And he went on to say, and often becomes expressed in darker ways. And so if we suppress things, if we push back against them, um, we can find that we actually create more of what we don't want. So if I'm against war and I go out there in the world against war, what do I create? I create more war. If I go out into the world and I am for peaceful solutions and equal sharing and the coming together creatively to solve the problems that we're in the middle of, I am more energized and I find myself attracting more people with that mindset who say, yes, the problems are big, but our creativity, our divine spark, our creative spark, whatever you want to call it, it's actually more powerful than these things that we are so disturbed by. And so I want to encourage you, invite you to test that out. Don't believe me. Don't swallow it. Not because Carl Jung or Wayne Dyer or anybody else said it or me, but test it. What I resist persists. What am I pushing against that if I use the same energy to push for something in a different direction, I would feel better. I would feel more empowered. I would begin mixing up with other people who have a similar growth mindset that says, I want to improve the situation. I want to grow. I want to make it better. As you do that, I find that every time, and I go back and forth across that line, I'm, certainly not a master of this, but it's becoming more and more reflexive to remember when I find myself in resistance, in feeling like a victim and feeling beaten down, in feeling like these things are way too big for me. So why does it even matter? Why try? When I start to notice that feeling, it's my signal that says, stop, take a breath, ground, and get back into the energy of what would I love? What would I love to see more of? What do I want to support? And listen, I know I'm talking to so many of us right now who are feeling so conflicted about some of the wars and the things that are happening in this world. I know that. And I'm not talking you out of how you feel. All I'm asking you to do is think about, how could I turn that energy and the energy I'm expending toward resistance? How can I take that energy and turn it down and turn up the energy I'm expending toward what I would love to see? Banding together with people who are creating positive movement in a different direction, right? I know that that is one of the antidotes to despair in our world, is to begin to take care of the things within our own arm's reach. I get reminded of this if I've not been taking care of my house, and so my environment doesn't feel great. I get reminded of this, when my body isn't feeling great, and I know I haven't been taking care of it very well. Or if some connections to people close to me, my mother, my children, my brothers and sisters, friends that are close to me, if I realize I've kind of let those things gain some static in those connections, or I've just let them sort of fade because I'm so busy, it reminds me, take care of what's within my own arm's reach, including my house plants and my pets. It's interesting how mundane and practical some of these things can be, but once we take care of what we can take care of, what we can influence within our own arm's reach, we find that we actually attract and gain more energy, more resilience and resourcefulness. We settle down into that space, and we talk about this quite a bit here, the green zone in the polyvagal chart, that ventrovagal state, down where we feel connected, we're open to resources, we're open to community, we feel safe. This is the creative zone. This is the zone where all the good things happen. And that is something that we can affect by taking part in the practices, many of which we share at Heal Plus Create. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. We do things there every month, like movement and breathing with Paul David Shea, and Kitty is doing Reiki sessions, and we have sacred spaces coming up, and we have book clubs several times a month that are delving into amazing, amazing teachings and modalities on healing and growing. We do a lot of those things there. I want to invite you to take advantage of that, right? Take advantage of this and be aware that each one of those things you attend is meant to bring you more into that space of what would I love? What would I love to create? What can I influence within my own arm's reach? And a lot of times it's our own well-being. It's taking care of ourselves. It's eating, properly and feeling good. It is journaling and meditating or taking walks in nature. It's all the things. It's gardening. Spring is getting ready to come on, I think. It's March and it is presently snowing here in Boise, but I know every single year since I've been alive, and lots of reports previous to that, the spring comes every year and it always takes the place of winter. And so as we begin to experience spring coming on, maybe do a little garden just in pots on your back porch if you don't have enough space to have a large garden. I don't at the house I'm in, so I'm going to do basil and herbs and probably some tomatoes on my back patio. I'm really looking forward to that. I find that connecting with the natural world, with plants, with growing things, with having a responsibility to take care of and nurture them, it keeps me connected to the earth. It keeps me grounded. So I want to invite you to do some of that. And feel free to write in the comments or hit reply to the email I'll send this out in if you want, and tell me the things that you do to stay grounded and to stay connected to your creative self and to remind yourself that you do have influence within your own arm's reach. See, there's this dichotomy between influence and control. So control says, I am seeking certainty, so I will try to make sure that I know what the outcome will be, which means that we get into a lot of behaviors that may not be very productive or even healthy. We begin trying to make other people do what we want them to do, and we begin controlling. We try to control our thoughts, we try to control the world, and it actually brings us that much more anxiety because the world is frankly too big to control for any one of us. So I'd love it if you would take the idea of influence rather than control, saying, no, I can't control my children, but I can influence. I can be an influence. They're within my own arm's reach, right? I can't control um, how my friend group evolves and changes, but I can send influence out. I can be that warm, honest friend who listens, who shares honestly and vulnerably, who makes it safe to do more of what we need to be doing in this world. I can do those things. So therefore, you have influence. You have influence. You don't have to control, but having influence means you bring more of what you want to see into the world simply by being it, simply by living it, right? All right, I mentioned Heal Plus Create a moment ago, and most of you know that I've also co-founded a group called awritingroom.com. And it is really exciting. It's very focused on people who are aspiring or already writing and who need the support, the tools, the information, meet the experts, all of that to really move that forward. And it is so gratifying to watch that growing and connecting beautifully. In fact, I'm flying to San Francisco tomorrow to open up our new studio and hybrid event center where we'll be doing audiobooks, we'll be doing events with amazing speakers who will be there, and you'll be able to, some people will be able to come in person, and others will be able to tune in from around the world. So much exciting, positive things are happening there. So many. Need to have my editor in real time, keeping my pronouns and verbs and all the numbering things straight. Anyway, it's really exciting to watch it happen. We have a fall retreat coming up in Los Angeles, and I can't yet say all the speakers, but some of them will actually blow your mind. I'm so excited about being able to share that with you. Within the next few weeks, I'll be able to come back and make that announcement, but that's going well. On the Institute for Creative Living and Heal Plus Create side, we are pausing and slowing down and listening to our core group of members, and saying, how can how can we make this more of a place for you to step forward and develop and share and grow the gifts and the latent talents that you have? And we find out that so many of our members have, um, they know things, they've experienced things, they've learned things, they have certifications, and they want to share these things, healing modalities and creative outlets and other information. And so it's been a great joy to watch more and more people begin to step forward and say, I'm willing to do that. Help me do it. And my goal there, my intention is to help more and more people who've been holding their gifts and not sure what to do with them, because they look out and they see, the whole world. If you're not a massive influencer on Instagram or have a million subscribers on YouTube or whatever it is, they feel like maybe, maybe I just don't have good enough stuff in me to really share. And I want to break down that wall. I want to make it possible and safe for people who might feel timid or might not have tremendous confidence in their gifts yet. I want them to be able to come forward and share it in a safe space with a core group of members who are willing to experience it and give them feedback, and also give them, applause for having the courage to begin developing these things. So much more going on there, and I'm really excited about it. And we have, somebody who just stepped up, and she has tremendous knowledge in the medical field and has a passion to help people reverse the effects of diabetes and reverse the effects of, some of the conditions that go into pre-diabetes. Hello, Crack Weasel. Those of you who don't know, this cat is named Crack Weasel, and he definitely likes to come up and hang out when I am talking on Zoom. So we will say hi to Crack Weasel for just a minute here. And so we're working on developing a program with her that can be of tremendous practical value and help people who are struggling and not feeling good and taking too many medications. And in some cases, it becomes more and more severe the longer it goes. And so we want to be able to pull back the veil and show how the medical system is really not built to help you get truly healthy. It's built to deal with symptoms. And of course, we could talk about the insurance companies and the, private equity firms that own the hospitals and all of that. And those things are valid. But I know there's something we can do about it. And that's one person at a time, giving the simple, very low cost practices and things they can do to make a difference in their health. I feel like that can be one of the most important things we can do. You start feeling better and the world starts looking better. Things seem more possible. So that's one angle, and we are working on more. So stay tuned. We are we're going to be bringing all this forward more and more, and I've really had the intuitive nudge to slow it down, to not put it under so much pressure to grow quickly, but to um, ask the spirit of this thing, how does it want to grow? How does it want to show up? And also ask the core members, what do you want to see? What would you love to see more of? How can we, I love that creative question. How can we bring more of that into being together? So that's one of the reasons I shared that with you at the beginning of this update, was to just say you can be the person in one or many more lives of that kind of influence, that people remember you as having made a significant contribution, even though it might have seemed small at the time, a significant contribution to their life in some way. So I'm going to be putting some links in the email that invite you to come and check out our writing room. We have an open house coming up very soon, actually in just a few days. So you get to see our new office, and we'll be providing a roadmap for writers to take home with them, whether you join the membership or not. That's a completely free open house on Saturday. And then we have a digital retreat going for the next full week with amazing people. I mean, we have editors, we have Anne Lamott coming in, we have amazing people going to be showing up as part of that digital retreat to support you, to inform you, to inspire you, to engage with you, and help your writing dreams come true. So I'm excited about that. More on all of this soon. Thank you for being here. And when I say that, I really mean it. Thank you for being here in this world and willing to grow, willing to heal, willing to share, willing to be the medicine. I'll talk with you soon.